All right. So, most of you have heard the news about Africa Bambaataa. Now, I didn't really find out about him until mid afternoon. I was on my way to my mother's house. So, I was scrolling through my phone. Well, actually, I was on YouTube. And Lord behold, I spotted a video by Real Gully TV. And I thought Gully TV was just being sarcastic, and I didn't think African Bambaataa truly passed. So when I typed his name up on Google, there behold, he did pass because TMZ confirmed it, and other major outlets confirmed it. I thought Gully TV was just making fun of Hassan Campbell just for the hell of it, but it's actually real. Africa Bambaataa has transitioned at the age of 67. Reportedly, he passed away from cancer. Heard he passed at 3 a.m. in his sleep. And, you know, a lot of people on social media have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I seen Doggy Diamonds didn't have anything nice to say. Some other people didn't have anything nice to say. I think the only person that was, really fair about Africa Bambaataa was Soren Baker on Unique Access, but that's about it. I didn't watch Hassan Campbell's videos on Africa Bambaataa, what his thoughts on his passing. I just remember I seen a clip that likened him to Epstein, which I don't think he is. He didn't have an Epstein island. Now, maybe if he had an Epstein apartment, I'd be with you, but an Epstein island, nah. But years ago on my old channel, I did a video on Hassan Campbell and Africa Bambaataa, and it seemed like, oh, should get some justice and everything. And I was just mentioning how there's a statute of limitations and everything, and unfortunately, people don't really care about black boys like that much, let alone men, because by the time we could walk as toddlers, we're pretty much treated as men anyway. I mean, I looked on IG, and there was a news report about a 9-year-old kid that was accused of groping a grown woman. And I'm like, what grown woman would report a 9-year-old kid? And the 9-year-old kid was crying too and everything like that. And I just think that grown woman should have been cursed out or something. Reporting a 9-year-old kid for allegedly grope. Oh, come on. Come on. These Karens are getting out of control, ladies and gentlemen. But getting back to Africa Bambaataa, of course people are going to have mixed reactions about him. And I've seen a lot of negative remarks and everything like that. And I understand, no one wants to really be on the side of a quote unquote toucher and whatnot, regardless of age. But I wasn't there, and other people weren't there. And I ain't gonna really get into the Hassan Campbell thing because that's a rabbit hole that doesn't really need to be delved into, really. I mean, he has his supporters and sympathizers, but he doesn't need yours truly to be in that number. So let me get to how I related to Africa Bambaataa, my history of him. I never met him, obviously. I'm a Gen Xer. I grew up listening to Planet Rock, and I more associated that with breakdancing. I know he was in Beat Street. I know he founded the Universal Zulu Nation and whatnot. And he helped and put a lot of rappers on. And surprisingly, some rappers are going to be quiet about Afrika Bambaataa, although Afrika Bambaataa did do a lot of help as far as MCs and hip hop goes. And the question is, how could we accept the public persona but completely push away the private one? The answer is you can't, because that's equivalent to pushing George Washington out of the founding of America or the founders of America in general. I mean, George Washington was a slave-owning president, much like Thomas Jefferson and all the people that signed the Declaration. They weren't the best people, but they founded this country. And when I hear people talk about hip hop, they all want to act like Afrika Bambaataa didn't have nothing to do with it. They want to downgrade his role in it, which I just find silly. I mean, yes, okay, we can talk about those alleged acts and whatnot, but are we just going to disregard that he founded, that he didn't play a role in hip hop and bringing bringing the elements to the forefront? Are we going to do that? Are we going to revise history based on feelings? I don't think we should. I think we should include Bambaataa in there, and that's not to minimize what he allegedly done and whatnot. And I say allegedly because he was never tried or convicted of any of this. Yes, a civil suit was filed, and the only reason why that person won the civil suit was because Afrika Bambaataa didn't show up to court for whatever reason. But my thing is this: two things could exist at the same time. However, should we write Afrika Bambaataa out of the history of hip hop? No. I think we should keep him in the book. We shouldn't write him out. We should just talk about what he did for hip hop in general. The other stuff could be dealt with separately. But when I go online, I just see a whole bunch of emotional, in their feels, brothers saying, oh, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. And, that's for Hassan Campbell and Randy B. Stinger Savage to deal with. But when it comes to hip hop and the contributions, I say Afrika Bambaataa should still be documented, and he should be in the history books of it. Hell, he should be in the museum. But a lot of cats ain't gonna do that. I mean, something. It's been 10 years since that story broke out. I think it was this month when that story broke out in what was it? I think it was in the Daily News, and Star from Star and Buck Wild, he pretty much broke the story. And I didn't believe it at first, but then it started getting traction and whatnot. And Afrika Bambaataa went on the local news in New York and, disputed that. He denied everything. And, later on he was forced to step down as leader of the Zulu Nation and whatnot, at least in public. Because I believe that Afrika Bambaataa was still leading behind the scenes and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, that story pretty much just dates back to 10 years ago. And, in closing, I know people are going to have mixed reactions, as I see on social media, as I see with a whole bunch of other content creators. But me, all I have to say is I didn't know that Afrika Bambaataa. I'm only going to speak on the one I was familiar with as far as the public one goes. And with that said, R.I.P. to Africa Bambaataa. May you rock, planet rock, wherever you go in the afterlife. This is Iron Will Media.